Hey there, everybody. Good evening. I'm Sandy Anastasi, and I want to welcome you to my psychic hour. So, welcome, everybody. It's good to be back again. I don't know why, but who knows? Maybe it's because of the hurricane we all just experienced here in Florida and most of the Southeast. But it just feels like it's been forever since we have been here together. So I can't tell you how wonderful it is to see everybody on here and be able to exchange our thoughts and ideas about what's coming up in October. So I'm real excited to get on with the September Psychic Hour. Here we are, September 29th. I can't believe the time has gone this long, this fast. It's just amazing. So without any further ado, I want to ask my question I always ask. Lisa, maybe you can answer. Are you all able to see and hear me okay? Are you having that good experience I want you to have?
I think I'm the only one who can answer you because we muted them, but yes, we can see you perfect and hear you perfect.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's why I was asking you, because I know that. Okay. Folks, as we get started, let me remind you that anyone who is here and stays with me through the full hour is going to be able to ask me one simple question before 9 p.m. tomorrow night, Eastern Time, if I don't get a chance to read you tonight. I like to do as good a job as I can with each of the people that I do speak with. So, I don't get to as many people as I would like to. But because I do answer your questions via email, everybody who is here and stays until the end is going to be able to ask me that one question. Nevertheless, please listen, even if you aren't the one who's getting called. As so many of you here, I've seen names that have been with me for years here. Those of you who have, you already know this, but my guides have a way of answering your question while they're answering somebody else's. So listen in and you may get your question answered, even though I didn't call on you, and still have a chance to ask your question via email. So if I don't actually call on you this evening, anytime between now and 9 p.m. Eastern tomorrow evening, you are welcome to email me your simple question, either to the email address on this website or to Lisa, S-A Inc. at AOL.com. Either way, that email is going to get to me. And here's what you are going to tell either Lisa when she calls on you, because she's the one who's in the chat room and will be making the selections as to who gets to talk. So whether she calls on you or whether you're sending me an email, here are the things I want to know. First of all, I want to know where you're from. That's always just plain fun to know. I want to know your first name and just your first name, because I do publish this on YouTube and the social networks, and so I don't want people to give away their personal lives. So only your first name. I also want to know your sun sign. Armed with your sun sign and this chart, which you see up here on my PowerPoint, which is a horary chart. It's a chart I cast for only this hour each month. And armed with your, with your sun sign and this chart, I can give you some very interesting information and also information that pertains to everybody else on site or online tonight who is similar in their astrological sign to you or has other similar qualities. So because I use this, I can talk to a lot of people at the same time. So I want your sun sign, and that's even if you send me your question via email, please still include your sun sign. I also want to know what you're grateful about this evening. I sure as heck know what I am. I'm just grateful to be here, that my home wasn't wiped away this time as it was a couple of years ago when Hurricane Ian went through. That's its own story, and we're not going to go there tonight. Meanwhile, those first four questions I want you to answer, and also your simple question that you want to ask. So your name, where you're from, your sun sign, what you're grateful for, and then your question. And keep the simple question. Notice I say simple. I know a lot of people think asking me a question like, what's happening next year? Or what do I need to know right now? People a lot of times think that's a simple question. That's not. That's an entire psychic reading. So a simple question are things like, am I going to move before the end of the year? Or am I going to find my dog soon? You know, those are the simple questions. And so keep it in a directed way, and I'll be able to answer that question for you accurately, or as accurately as me and my guides can do, before 9 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow night. Okay, before I get started, I've just got so many things I want to try and quickly cover with you. Um, First off, you know my website. You had to go there to sign up for the Psychic Hour. So I do want to remind you, though, that I have an app. So please, 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 if you haven't done it yet, download the app to your smart device, even your computer, because with the crazy things that are going on with our internet right now, especially if you happen to be in that thunderstorm we had, a little storm, um, if you had the app, you probably were going to be able to get onto my website and listen to all of your classes you've had with me and re-listen to the psychic hour from the past sessions. You were going to have a great time. But if you didn't have the app, you weren't going to be able to do that, okay? Because most people, the internet was down. But with the app, you were going to be able to find a way to get on there. So do download the app, because you can even use the app on your smartphone as long as you have phone service. It's pretty cool. Okay. I also want to remind you that I would like you to be more active. To get everybody to do this, I want you to be more active in our open forum. Um, we created that for you, and all of the things that you ask me and that we talk about here on the Psychic Hour, you can continue those conversations right in the open forum and with like-minded people who are going to be glad to share their experiences, to be able to jump online with you. So this involves you directly with your fellow people who come on to these Psychic Hours, and a lot of them are very knowledgeable and experienced people. And also me and Lisa, my assistant, who's in the chat room that you know well. We monitor that open forum, so we actually do get to directly answer your questions too. So in between these Psychic Hours, that's the way to connect with us.
Sandy,
What's
oh,
coming in?
sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
but I'm not seeing your camera any longer.
Oh, okay. You know what? I'll. Is it back
Oh, there
on now?
you are. Yes.
Yeah. You know what it's doing? It's hogging. Okay, maybe I can get rid of it now. Hide my webcam. Can you see me now?
Yes, I can see you now.
Good. I was busy trying to hide it while I was talking because that big picture of me that I just don't want to look at was covering my whole screen. So I got rid of it, and apparently I turned it off. I just got rid of it the wrong way. Okay. Any rate, here we are. We're still we're still working, and you can see me, and I can see my computer screen as well. Okay, I was down here talking about what's coming in 2025. Um, my webinar, I do this annually. It's absolutely amazing, folks. I'm looking forward to it myself because I don't know myself what my guides are going to tell you. I work with an outline. I follow pretty much the same outline each year, but it's always different and sometimes really surprising stuff that comes out in those webinars. So if you really want a blow by blow what's coming all through 2025 from my guides, please join me on November 14th at 7 p.m. It's a Thursday. And if you register right now, it's only $25, by the way, very inexpensive. If you register right now, you're going to get last year's recording for free, okay? In fact, I think the last year's recording will go out to you right away, and then you'll be on the webinar that night. If for some reason you can't make the webinar that night, it is going to be recorded, and you're going to get that recording also in your mailbox, so you can't lose. Anyway, register right now, and you're going to get last year's recording free when you purchase the What's Coming in 2025 webinar right now. Now, also, and this is something I haven't done before, but it's a real cool thing. You're going to get $25 off when you then pay for your Year at a Glance 2025 reading with me. I don't know if you're one of the people who gets it, but I have a waiting list every year for that year at a glance reading that takes you individually through every single month of the year and gives you predictions ahead of time as to what you have to watch out for, what you should be ready for, what you should plan for, what kinds of issues are coming up for you each month. So it allows you to really plan your year out in a real smart way. I do that with my guides. That reading is my normal reading price, which is $300. And you can get $25 off of that reading whenever you book it if you buy the what's coming in 2025 webinar. Now that means you're essentially getting the webinar for free because you're going to get $25 off of the year at a glance reading. Meanwhile, I hope that made sense to you. Meanwhile, those year at a glance readings are filling up fast already. Lisa talked me into starting them early this year. I'm actually starting some of them right in a few weeks in October. And I'm like in shock that people are already booking them, but I don't do them past February. The last one I do is in February. So there's a limited amount of spaces for them because I still have a lot of other clients I have to see. So the earlier you can get in there and get your place booked, the more likely you are to be able to even get your year at a glance reading. So that's a great price. Do it. If you're a VIP, I want to apologize to you because this is really crazy. Lisa and I were talking about this earlier today. Originally, the VIP coaching call was scheduled for a couple of days ago. It was scheduled for Thursday night. And if you folks have been paying attention, our hurricane hit ground on Thursday night. It was like, oh my goodness. Well, about a month ago, I asked Lisa to change the date. I thought I was going to be traveling. I asked her to change the date, and she rebooked it into October. And then I asked her to change the date again, and she rebooked it from October into November. So I really, really want to apologize to my VIPs because I don't normally do that. But boy, have you been getting shifted around. And I'm going to have to do something really especially nice for you during that coaching call for being such really good, flexible people. But isn't it nice to be with a bunch of psychics so that we weren't trying to do our call in the middle of the hurricane? Isn't that wonderful? I love how our guides work. By the way, obviously I canceled my trip. I canceled my trip a couple of weeks ago too. So we were all knowing what was coming without really knowing. The next psychic hour, please put it on your schedule, is October 27th. And you know that you sign up for that right online on my website, just like you did this. And boy, oh boy, do I have a lot of specials for you this October. You know, September was kind of light. We were sort of taking a little bit of a breather. October is going to make up for it. Lisa and I put our heads together and we came up with some absolutely fabulous things. Some of these things are old and returning. Some of them are brand new. Let me just go through them really quick for you. The first thing is a reading / coaching special. It's kind of a combination of both. It's coaching, but when I coach, you still get my guides. My guides do the coaching with me. We're going to talk about finding and eliminating all of the vampires in your life. That could be people, it could be situations, it could be things, it could be work. We're going to find those vampires, and we're going to not just tell you what they are and where they're coming from and how to get a handle on them. We're going to tell you how to eliminate them from your life if you so choose. Sometimes that's not so easy, but it is doable. We're going to help you with that. That session is only $300. And guess what? You're going to get my Dark Forces webinar as a free gift when you buy that. That Dark Forces webinar is all about the hidden things on the other side of the veil. It's appropriate because of course, Halloween being this month. Happy fall, happy Halloween. And guess what? We're going to just have so much fun with that reading, and you're going to love the Dark Forces webinar. Second, I'm offering my After Death Intuitive Coaching 2-session package for $100 off. That's going to cost you just $550 this month. Folks, that is 2 sessions. Normally, my readings are, I'm just being very direct, they're normally $300 for half an hour. The After Death reading has 2 sessions, both of them last an hour. And it normally goes for $650. So it's actually underpriced based on my other readings. But this month, because of it being when the veil is the thinnest, I'm offering it for $100 off. So if you or somebody you know really wants to get deeply into the not just the what happened when my loved one passed, but where are they now? How do I connect with them? Do you have a connection to them? Is there somebody else in there who does? What was the spiritual journey that they were on that I was on during their passing, after their passing? What was the connection between us? Why did this happen the way it happened? If you want to go into that kind of depth, for some people, that's a very important part of your healing. Then book that session anytime during October. It's going to be $100 off. It's only $550. Now, for those of you that sounds, gee, Sandy, I've always wanted to do that, but I just can't come up with that kind of money all at once. Well, this is something brand new. It's not on my website. You have to book this directly with Lisa. You're going to contact her at Lisa SA Inc. to get this session, to get an invoice for it. For my regular reading price, $300. It's going to be a short version. It's only a half an hour, but I'm going to squeeze that after death intuitive coaching session into that half hour, which I'm going to do because I'm going to be talking more about you than the person who's passed. But it is going to be extremely valuable. And if you are needing that kind of help and that kind of support, that session is going to do it for you. My fourth special is going to be, well, it is about my VIP coaching membership drive. I continue that each fall, and I keep giving you gifts for doing it. Well, if you join, if you're not a member and you join at the yearly price of $197 now, you're going to get my entire MP4, that's all on video, Psychic Protection Tips program as a gift. It'll feed out to you for over the next 6 months, okay? And you'll access it right on the app. It'll come straight to your smart device. It's a great program, and you're going to get that for free if you join. Now, if you're already a member and you want that program, but you didn't get it when you joined, well, you can have that program at a discount this month alone. And I'm not sure what that discount is offhand. It's in my newsletter. You can check it with Lisa. I think it was $25, which is a great discount, but I'm just not sure. You've got to double check. Also, you can give this thing away as a friend. So VIPs, if you bring a friend in, not only are they going to get that MP4 protection tips program, but you will too. So fifth, I'm offering GoPro Tarot again this October. I was back and forth. Should I? You folks don't even know about this. I taught GoPro Tarot a year ago in October, and I taught it as an invitation-only class to people who had taken all of my classes that had indicated that they were interested in developing professional abilities as a tarot reader. It was a phenomenal class. It's available on tape. It is not on my website, but it's available on MP4. And guess what? If you join me this October for GoPro Tarot, it's not the same class. It's an extension of the original class. I'm developing it further, but you're going to get the original class included if you purchase it now. The cost of this GoPro Tarot, it's 3 sessions. It's $150. It meets Thursday nights in October. And you're going to get $25 off if you register before October 3rd. So don't spend too long thinking, because you're going to save $25 if you act fast. If you already took it last year and you want to take this extension of it, you're going to get $50 off of that price. And again, you're going to have to be invoiced directly through Lisa. So contact her and she'll tell you how to get that. It's going to be a great class, folks. And I had somebody ask me just recently, Sandy, do I need to really be a professional reader already? Do I need to really be good at the cards to take this class? The answer is no, okay? What I wanted to be clear is that I'm not going to go over the meanings of every individual card. So if you want that, you need to take my basic tarot class that's on my website. This is for people who want to learn to work with clients. They want to know where to work. They want to know how to advertise. They want to know how to get past their own stage fright. They have issues with doing something like this professionally. I know it sounds odd, but it's really going to be that class that answers all of those very personal questions about taking your gift as a psychic, and in this case, using tarot as a psychic, but you could be using almost any tool, taking your gift and developing it into something that you can do professionally to help people. And so GoPro Tarot is really, it's going to go far beyond tarot reading, but I'm calling it the GoPro Tarot class, and we're adding on to the original class. And remember, if you buy it at the $150, you're also going to get the last year's class that you're going to have a chance to go through right away before that other class even starts. Okay, my last special is that and this is big, early enrollment for my 2025 psychic development class beginning in January. It's open now, folks, and the best discounts are right now. Not only do we have a discount that gives you almost a whole class for free, I'm not talking about one night, I'm talking about a whole series. My Anastasi system of psychic development is 6 levels between January and April. So each level has 3 sessions to it. This is copious, this is detailed. It includes the Seeing Beyond the Veil class as well, in addition to those 6 levels. It's a lot of information. And almost one whole level is free to you if you buy that class now with early open enrollment. Not only that, but we have a program set up where you can actually pay over time, which really diminishes your, what you have to pay out. Okay, it's the same amount in the long run, but it makes it much easier to get, to get that enrollment paid if you enroll early. So check into that if that interests you. It's going to be offered in January. I'm excited about it, and you can get on board with it now. Okay, that was a lot. Folks, I'm sorry I took so long going through this stuff. There's just so many things going on now, including Happy Halloween. Oh, and by the way, when you register for that GoPro Tarot class, I'm going to have you ready to start booking your first tarot parties before Halloween. So you're going to have a very happy Halloween. Okay, Lisa, we've got to get on with this evening. Who is our first caller, as you say, our first victim?
All righty, our first victim tonight is going to be Alice. Alice, can you unmute?
Hello.
Hello there, Alice. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Awesome. Well, I am calling from Colorado. I am a Cancer, and I am really grateful for the opportunity to do a lot of traveling this year. It's been really fun. I'm about to go to Italy with my daughter, and then after that, I get to go to Turkey to have a cosmetic surgery procedure done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is extensive for sure. Hey,
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank
Let me
you.
take a look at what's going on for you astrologically, and then we'll get into your specific question, okay?
Okay.
As a Cancer, Alice, almost your entire sign is here in the 3rd house, which is interesting because this almost says that this long distance traveling for you is feeling like short distance traveling. You're
Oh.
almost becoming like a world citizen. It feels like that to you. It's interesting. I feel like you almost don't know where you want to be because there's
Mm-hmm.
been so much travel around you and so many changes in where you're physically even living. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of cool. Now, Mars is here, which talks about right now this being a rather active time for you. Now, in a positive sense, and by the way, when I'm telling Alice about this, if you're a Cancer, a Capricorn, a Libra, or an Aries, all these things are going to apply to you. So please listen in, okay? It's so many things going on, both in your home, in your hometown, in your home country, certainly, but also in with the people who are your good friends, with your work situation. It's like you put a foot outside the door and there's chaos. And it seems to constantly be surrounding you, okay?
Yes.
What's interesting is that because we have Mars in Cancer, that's a cardinal sign. We have the Sun, Mercury, and South Node in Libra, the 2nd cardinal sign. Pluto is in Capricorn, 3rd cardinal sign. And Chiron and North Node are in Aries, fourth cardinal sign. When we have a planet in each of the cardinal signs, we get a grand cross. So what's interesting is you've got all this chaos around you, and a lot of it is stirred up conversation and people saying this and that, and this has to be done. A lot of it's coming from all these people who are your family and extended family. But the frustrating thing is you're never in a position to really do anything about it. So you're putting out
Mm-hmm.
fires. You understand what I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about?
Oh
What
yeah.
happens is you say, oh, yes, I'm definitely on board with that. I'm going to help. And you charge, and then you hit a brick wall because the person either backs out or they miss the date or they have too many other things to do. And you're like, huh? And so then you go over and you decide, instead of going and being behind that person who was confiding what they needed you to do, you then go and you run to the person in your family or your work situation who you know how to help them, you know what they need, they're a good companion, you can talk, you can hang out together, and that's working out really fine until all of a sudden their family situation and their
Yep.
work situation and their relationship interferes with all the stuff you have planned. And so that doesn't take off. So
That's
then you,
wild.
yep, then what do? Then you go off and you say, I'm going to just work because, nothing's going to get in the way of work. So guess what? You get all involved with this work situation. You've got this great plan. You're going to take it to the limit. You've got all these people behind you, and one little tiny person doesn't sign the paper that needs to be signed. And
Mm-hmm.
so that one goes on hold. So then you go and you decide, guess what? I'm going to go and do this thing that I'm doing by myself because then I'm not depending on anybody, right? Nobody's going to get in the way. And then as you start to get off and do your own thing, you find that you're questioning, oh my, do I really want to do this or do I want to do that? And now you get in your own way. Okay.
It's unbelievable that you basically described what my life has been like, and it's got my head spinning.
Yeah, isn't it fun? And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it helps you to know that you're not the only one who's going through this. Remember, if you're a Cancer, if you're a Libra, if you're a Capricorn, if you're an Aries, this is what's been going on with your life.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are dealing with an astrological grand cross. Now, it doesn't mean it has to be all bad. It can be a lot of fun, but it does mean that if you come up against resistance, don't keep pounding your head against it because the resistance isn't going to go away. The more you pound, the bigger the resistance is going to get. So when
Oh,
you come up against resistance, let that project go and put your energy into one of your other projects or one of your other people until you find resistance there. And then
okay.
go on to do another thing that's not got resistance. And if you keep shifting your attention into
Okay.
that thing in life that brings joy and doesn't have resistance, you're not going to get it all done at once, but at least you're going to make progress. It's going to be enjoyable, it's going to be fun, and you're not going to get angry and irritated. Okay.
Okay. That's great advice.
Yeah, it really does help. So, what's your specific question?
Well, a couple years ago, I started talking to a man online that I was interested in, and I actually was able to ask you if I was actually ever going to meet him because he's in Sweden and I'm in Colorado, and I was skeptical if we were ever going to meet. And not only did you say that we were going to meet, but you said that eventually one of our biggest arguments would be who moves where. Well, we actually finally just met, and we did hit it off. I had a great time. However, it did feel like almost everything went wrong. Mercury was in retrograde. It felt like everything was going wrong, and I got kind of sick and felt like I ruined one of the days by not feeling good. When I was there, I realized that he's autistic, which kind of explained a lot of our communication issues. Um, and I felt rejected a little bit. I felt like maybe he didn't like me. When I got home, I started telling my friends about some of our conversations. They think I'm the one that made him feel rejected. So now I'm wondering if I've ruined this. I don't know. Like, he's texting me a lot less. I think it's because I'm rejected. They think it's because he's feeling rejected. And so I don't know if I've completely messed up with him.
Can I be blunt with you?
Yeah.
Probably did, at least for the now, at least for this time.
Okay.
Okay. Um, and I don't think it's really because you were a stick in the mud that day. Um, I think it's because one of you either was previously married or in a past relationship.
Me,
And
yeah.
yeah, and whichever one of you it was, there's a term my husband uses. That one of you kept putting their ex's face on you.
Oh,
And when that happens, what that tells me is that that person just isn't ready to have a new relationship because they haven't resolved the old one.
okay.
Okay. Now, is it possible that something could work out between you guys in the future? Yes, it is. But there will have to be a whole lot that happens because whatever that past relationship issue is, that really has to get resolved. And, whoever, if it was him with the past relationship, frankly, his next partner is not going to be happy because he's going to take out all of his anger and aggravation at his ex on his new partner because he hasn't worked it through. So he's just going to work it through with a new person who's going to say, huh?
Yeah.
And so it really makes sense if you're not the new person, you follow?
Yeah.
But if after he goes through that and finally resolves the old relationship on the next relationship, which won't be you, um, that relationship's probably not going to end nicely. But once it's done, he will have grown and learned. And if you still want it, you probably could have it.
Okay.
Notice I said if you still want it. See, the thing here, Alice, is that you're doing a whole lot of growing yourself. And a lot of times, there's a moment in time when both people are on that same level relationship-wise where things could happen. But I think by the time you two actually did manage to meet, you had already kind of grown beyond where he is. You've had past relationships too, but you're not doing the pin somebody's face on the other person. You
Mm-hmm.
see,
Yeah.
transparent that might be a better term to use. You get the point.
Yeah.
The thing is that as long as you're doing transference, you're not really having a relationship with the other person, and you've grown to the point where you really want to have a relationship with a person that's honest, and he's not there yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So he's got to get there before that can happen. Now, should you keep talking to him? My guides are saying, sure. You're going to laugh. My guides are saying, sure, why not? Why not continue to have a long distance relationship with somebody that you love to travel?
Yeah.
Why not? Have fun. Just don't have expectations.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Oh, I'm terrible. Hey,
No.
that was my guides, but they're realists.
No, I actually like that because the idea of not talking to him anymore is really depressing to me. Like I've had a hard time, like just getting through the day lately, just thinking about it being over.
Yeah. Well, I don't think there's any reason for it to be over. I just don't think it's a great thing to have high hopes for, because right
Okay.
now it wouldn't satisfy those high hopes. Okay,
Okay.
at least not at the
Yeah.
moment.
That makes a lot of
Meanwhile,
sense.
now is a good time for me to tell this to everybody, by the way. We are under an eclipse pattern. I always like to remind my people about the eclipses. We had an eclipse, it was on September 18th. And so on September 4th, we all needed to start keeping our eclipse journal. We should still be keeping it. The next eclipse is the solar eclipse. It's going to be on October 2nd, just coming up this week. And so we need to continue our eclipse journal through October 16th. You get that? The journal's from September 4th through October 16th. It's a 6-week journal. And all the things that happen beneath that time period are, particularly because this is the last eclipse of the year, that's giving you insight into your next year, folks. Normally it would go out 6 months, but this is the one that shoots into next year. It's giving you an overview of the whole year. You want to have an idea of the kinds of things you're going to be dealing with for the next year. Oh my God, I hope it's not more hurricanes. But seriously, we may be dealing with weather and earth changes and repairs and things like that here in Florida. It wouldn't surprise me because that hurricane did so much damage to the southeast. And I'm just using that as an example. Okay. The thing is that everything that happens underneath that eclipse gives you insight, not into the end of the world, but into the kinds of things you're going to be dealing with in the next year. So obviously, you're going to be dealing with, do I want that relationship or not? Heck, it's a good place to visit.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a cool place to visit. Sweden was cool.
Yes. Okay. And I think
Thank you.
I think when there are no expectations involved on his part or your part, I think the two of you will have a fun friendship. And I think
Okay.
that could be very valuable for both of you, you know?
Okay. Well,
So good
thank you so
luck. Thank
much.
you. Yeah, thank you for calling in.
Yeah.
Lisa, who's our next caller?
Okay, our next person tonight is going to be Judith. Judith, can you unmute?
Hi, Sandy. Hi, Lisa.
It's good to hear your voice. How are you?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, trying to anyway.
So,
I'm one of the ones you just described. I live in Pennsylvania. I'm a Capricorn. And I am grateful to be on this call right now because I could use some guidance.
well, and isn't it nice? I don't know, Lisa doesn't tell too many people, but she's a psychic. It's not an accident she called on you, Judith. So
Oh, I am
Judith
so
has
thrilled about it.
you're a cardinal sign, so so many of the things I was talking about with Alice are also going to pertain to you.
Mhm.
But your son is actually in the chart's ninth house, and I'm going to hit you right between the eyes, Judith. Oh God, how come you're still in Pennsylvania?
I do like it here. I like the change of seasons. I love my home. I love the people I'm surrounded by.
Hmm.
Um,
The reason I'm asking is that I'm looking at this chart, and with the entire ninth house is Capricorn, okay, all of it. And that ninth house is about moves and travel, and it's about trying to figure out where I might live if I don't live here. It's about people from distant places coming to visit you. Get my point? It's about spending
mhm.
a lot of time on the internet. It's about traveling to Turkey and Italy. Okay, it's, it's about these kinds of things. Okay, and I get the impression that you have been doing the hunker down, hold on, dig your fingernails and your toes in, and not take advantage of life's opportunities. Okay. Something interesting is getting ready to happen. Pluto, as you can see here, it's still retrograde. My cursor's on it. At 29 degrees, it's pointing back towards that ninth house. It's giving you opportunities to travel, to move a business, to change your job, maybe to move your work situation or your husband's. It's giving you an opportunity to do that motion that you've been talking about doing. The opportunities are there, but it's at station, okay? And on October 11th, it's going to go direct. And then by the time we get to just before Thanksgiving, it's going to go into the next sign, which is Aquarius. Your midheaven is Aquarius. It's going to cross right over, not your midheaven, the midheaven in this chart is Aquarius. And it's what that's telling me is that there are some big changes that are happening in your world that you've kind of had your head in the sand about. You've been really resistive about it. And it may be because this is home. And I'm not talking about just the physically wanting to be there in Pennsylvania, but I want to stay at the same job. I want my hubby to stay at the same job. I want my kids to all stay in their same rooms. I don't want anybody to move. Do I get is there maybe a little bit of resistance in your life here? You see? And what this is telling me is that you have some big decisions to make and you know what they are. And it's time to start letting go of the things that you really know need to change in your world. Otherwise, very shortly, like between the end of this year and next spring, they're going to be ripped out of your hands. Now, I want you to think about where you were last year between January 1 and April 15th, that time period, because that time period is coming back for you and for all of us around between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and it's going to be what our lives are for the next 19 years, okay? Because Pluto is moving into Aquarius and it's not going back into Capricorn again. It's leaving. Now, it should be an easier time for you. Pluto going through Capricorn was a rough time for you. It's one of the reasons why you've kind of got PTSD and been hanging on to everything and not wanting any changes to happen in your world. And meanwhile, when Pluto moves forward into Aquarius, it's going to be such a tremendous relief. Do you hear me?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
So,
And I'm glad. I can't wait.
yeah. And meanwhile, I guess the question I have to ask you is how come you're holding on to things that give you pain?
Probably because it's what I'm used to.
Okay. Now, did I answer your questions, or do you have a specific one that you'd like to ask?
Well, I do have a specific one.
Okay.
We're struggling financially, my husband and I, and we're contemplating either redoing our home equity loan or taking out of our 401k loan. And I am so up in the air about what to do. I don't
Well,
know whether just to take the money and not have any other expenses or to take out, because we do have a home equity and redoing it for a higher amount and then paying the interest. So
yeah.
I've been dealing with this for probably 4 months now, going back and forth, but
My
the
my
time has
guides are
come.
saying my guides are saying either choice works for you. Okay.
Okay.
They're saying the choice that says redo the home equity loan, that will give you the most peace of mind. Okay, so apparently it's doable. Interest rates are getting ready to fall. So, if you hang on, the Fed is doing something about that right now. So they're going to be coming down. Um, you folks also ought to know something, and only wish that I could predict it with more specific. Maybe my guides can in that webinar that's coming up. But there is something called Nasara. It's Gasara in Europe and the rest of the world, Nasara here. And it's a complete redo of the financial system. And it's going to help us all out a whole lot. And yeah, the bottom's probably likely to fall out, but there's going to be a safety net. And we're not going to fall to the bottom. We're going to have a degree of protection involved. So I know this sounds really, really way out, but I'm going to ask you to have faith and to trust your husband's intuition. My guides are saying his intuition on these things is pretty good. Okay. And
Mhm.
go ahead and do what's going to get you through this moment. Do what you have to do. Take that chance to make it happen. But know that there is going to be a financial windfall that comes and that helps not just you, but all of us. That's around the corner.
Okay.
I just don't have the exact timing on it. Nobody does. It's one of those things when I talked about everything being held back, held back, held back, held back. My guides have constantly said to me, too many hands in the pie, too many cooks in the kitchen, too much going on to get a clear view of exactly when they can say what's going to happen, but they haven't been able to get the timing as good as they usually do. I will tell you that the Corporation of the United States fiscal year is done October, I think it's the 2nd. It's coming up this coming week. And that's going to start a huge snowball rolling. There's a
Okay.
lot going to be happening. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much.
And again, either one of those solutions isn't great, but it'll get you through this time period. Okay. And that's what you
Okay.
need to do in order to feel like you can breathe again. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Good
Wonderful. Thank you
luck.
so much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And Lisa, who's next?
All righty, our third person tonight is going to be Vida. I hope I said that right. Vida, can you unmute?
Hello?
Hi, I can hear you. Yes.
Oh, hi, good evening. My name is Vida. I'm a Taurus. I'm calling from LaSalle, Ontario, Canada. and I am grateful for absolutely everything in my life. Um,
I'm very happy for you. That sounds nice. It sounds like where we all want to be.
yes,
And
I am very grateful, and I say actually a ritual every morning. I do a little prayer, and I do say how grateful I am, and I do specify all the things that I'm grateful for, and I really, really am. I feel really good after I say that, and I also am grateful for the day and hope that starts off to a wonderful day.
Vita, thank you
My,
for sharing that. A lot of people don't realize how important, we call it the attitude of gratitude. Um, the universe sends back to us, it reflects back to us what we project out. So when we're feeling grateful, when we're projecting gratitude, when we're projecting that happiness and that positive nature, the universe is going to return those positive things, those happy things to us. Okay.
right.
And so even when things, I know a lot of people on here are having some difficult times, even when you're going through difficult times in your world, if you look at the things that are good, that's going to bring more good. And sometimes it's hard. You've got to deal with the things that are bad, deal with them, take care of them, but don't put your energy into them emotionally. Put your energy, your emotional energy, into those things that you can feel good about, that make you happy, that you're grateful about. This is why that ritual you just shared is so very, very powerful. So, once again,
Yes,
thank you. Thank you for sharing that with us. That's great.
yes. Just wanted to just give you a little tidbit is that I'm an NDEer, and since I became that many, many years, I have been more aware of synchronicities that have been occurring in my day-to-day life. And the synchronicities that I have had a couple of months ago were a lot of funeral cars, a lot of things like that were happening. And then all of a sudden, from this spiritual organization, I get in the mail some sympathy cards, to give out, to mail out. And I'm there like, oh no, right?
Mm,
That's to me a sign. And sure enough, a week later, I find out that my sister had passed away.
aw,
Yeah,
I'm
so
sorry.
like I'm fully aware of the signs and things around me. I'm very much there. And, but the fact is that I didn't know that she was having a surgery and she passed away during that. So I didn't have a chance to say my goodbyes. I mean, I did a year ago intuitively did say what I had to say to her, made my peace with her, and that just in case, because I kind of knew that she is more or less to herself, her lifestyle and everything else. We live in different cities. So, anyways, I just wanted to know if there's anything that you pick up from that.
The thing that, as you were talking, I'm sure you can feel her around you. Your sister is probably closer to you today in her form on the other side than she ever was to you when she was alive.
I
Okay.
believe it.
There
Yes,
is
yes.
an amount of joy and happiness and a sense of freedom around her.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
she's got a lightness. I think of it almost like fairy energy. This is light, like very happy, relaxed space.
Oh,
And I
that's
think
good.
that I think she was a person that when she was alive, she was never able to have that peace and that feeling of freedom and that feeling of knowing she was loved and cared for. And she never was able to attain it. It was beyond her. Um,
Mm.
she's there now. So be settled with her. She's there. She's in the place she needs to be. And she is very, very aware of what's going on with you and everybody else she loved right now. Her love is very strong and more powerful now because all of the personality things that got in the way in the past aren't there. She's really moved to a higher level than she was at, much higher.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. It's interesting. Not everybody a lot of people think, oh, somebody died, they became an angel. It doesn't always work that way.
Right.
A lot of times, if somebody's not a nice person here, they're not a nice person on the other side either. Their character just stays the same. But every once in a while, you get somebody who, in this world, this life, didn't maybe reach the potential that their spirit was capable of. But when they pass, they step right into who they really are.
Well,
And
especially when they pass, they go through a life review and then they're able to see and assess everything that they've done to everybody.
some
Okay.
people hold
And
it.
yeah,
Some people go through a life review and say,
right,
well, that makes me free. That's so important. Other people go through a life review and their personality steps in and says, you're full of it, and walk away. I.e., not do not think that everybody who passes suddenly becomes a joyous, wonderful spiritual person. But your sister did. That's the
good,
important. She did,
good.
and she is somebody very special, and I think you're very lucky to have her in your wheelhouse. She's a power. She's a definite
Mm.
power, and a power for good. Okay.
So, is there
Thank you
any
for sharing.
message or anything that I'm getting from, do you pick up from her that she needs to give for me to know? Is there
I think
any?
I don't think you need me for that. She's with you all the time. When you need to
Okay,
talk to her, you get signals, you get signs. More importantly than anything, you get feelings. A lot of that
right.
joy you feel comes from her.
Yeah,
Now,
no, I do. I do have positive feelings,
let me
from
show
that. I
you
don't
what's
have
going on
anything.
astrologically, but based on this chart. Since you're a Taurus, a little bit of the Taurus sign is in this 12th house that's looking inside of yourself, but most of it's in the first house, and we have Uranus right there. So this should be a time of major change and growth for you, okay? It's a
Mhm.
time to go with the flow. Just allow yourself to be sensitive to whatever needs to happen, and just be expect change and be good with change, even though Taurus isn't always the sign we associate with change right now that works for you.
All right.
The
Okay.
next fixed sign is Scorpio. It opposes Taurus. Venus is in Scorpio right now. So there could be a change coming for you relative to not just your relationship with your sister, which you found out about, but also with her being close to you and being one of your guides. Otherwise, she wouldn't have come in for me so swiftly and easily. I don't communicate with the random dead person. That's just not my thing. I
Right.
communicate with your guides. So she's right
Good.
there as your guide. Okay.
Good. Mm-hmm.
Um, and also, there are some changes happening for you in your relationships, mostly with women, but also with your significant other. And that could be in a good way, not just a bad way. Don't think bad, but opportunities coming up for your partner or whoever your closest relationship is. And that, how they respond to those opportunities in their life changes how you relate to them. So those changes are very much around you. And that would be true of all of the fixed signs. That's Taurus, that's Scorpio, that's Aquarius, and that's Leo. So you fixed signs, and guess what? You're getting ready to go through some big changes, and they're probably going to be coming to you through a partner, through a friend, through a family member. But those changes are very, very powerful. Okay, thank you so much. That was really a delight to speak with you and to connect with her. I really appreciate that.
Okay. Good night, and thank you
Good
very
night.
much.
You're welcome. And Lisa, who's our next person?
Alrighty, the next little victim tonight is going to be Trina W. I think we have two on the call tonight. So Trina, can you undo your, I can't even say it. Unmute your
It's
mic. I have hurricane brain. I'm sorry.
Trina.
That's okay. While you were stumbling, Lisa, she had plenty of time to get unmuted.
My name
Trina,
is Trina.
help with you. How are
I
you?
am I'm okay, and I'm a Virgo, and I'm from Iowa right now.
Oh boy, is it getting cold up there already?
No, we're having warm days.
Really? And I'm thinking, you said Iowa, right?
Yes, ma'am.
That's pretty far north, and you're warm. I got to remember that. This might be a good time of year to visit up there.
Mm-hmm.
I always think of Iowa as being, close enough to Canada that you guys are getting cold already. Okay.
No, we're central.
Okay. And in this chart, most of the fifth house is Virgo. In fact, all of the fifth house is Virgo because Virgo is intersected in it, and the moon is in Virgo. But look at this. Virgo is a mutable sign. That moon is opposing Saturn. So right now you might be having, if you have kids, issues with the first kid, the third kid. Kids are definitely on your mind. If you don't have your own kids, it could be somebody else's kids.
Mm-hmm.
But also relationships are very much on your mind too. You're wanting to bring some play, some joy into your relationships. And I don't know if the partnership that's in your life right now is going to allow that to happen, because the Saturn at 14 Pisces up here opposing that moon, that's bringing something in energetically that's making both of you take things so seriously. It's kind of like it's uncovering, because Neptune's up here too, and Neptune likes to uncover things. It likes to show you the things that in life have been hidden. And so there's things coming up in your world through, again, here we have this through a partner, through a friend, or a relationship partner, that are making you step back from that child energy that you really want to embrace, that's so creative and that makes you feel so whole and complete. Um, that's big. And these two planets are part of a T square because they're both squaring into Jupiter, that's in Gemini. And I think a lot of the reality, zonkers are having to do with finances, with maybe investments or long term decisions or planning for finances. At any rate, there's a lot of stuff coming here. If there's two families that you're working with, it could be that it's kind of a joining of the two families that's being a problem, both in terms of interpersonal relationships as well as finances. So, folks, if you're listening and if you are a mutable sign, Virgo, Gemini, Pisces, and Sagittarius, you might be going through some of these things. There's a lot of focus on finances. Now, this isn't all bad. A lot of times when we have this kind of situation come up in our life where we have to take a look at what's going on, we have these unseen things that pop up that we say, oh my God, I didn't know I had to take care of that too. And what it does is it helps us to be better prepared. It helps us to look at things that do get us to do this long-term planning, in the long run, put us into a better position emotionally, relationships and financially. So right now there could be some stresses, but in the long run, I think you're going to find that it works out in your best interests. There's also travel around you. I don't know if someone's coming to visit you or if you're going to be traveling yourself. And that traveling could be relative to finances or relative to work. Okay. What's your specific question? And also, do you have any questions about any of the information that just came through?
No, a lot of it I can understand. My question is, my daughter died a year and a half ago, and I keep thinking I need to feel her, but I don't. Does she come around me at any time, and how would I know?
I don't think she's around you. I think if she was, you'd feel her.
Okay,
Okay. Now, I did ask, how old was she when she passed? Because she feels so young.
36.
Wow. Did she herself have a daughter or a child?
Yes.
Okay. Well, guess why she's not around you?
Okay.
Okay. Apparently, I don't know if her child has a lot of difficulties in life or is having a lot of trouble resolving having lost mom.
Yes.
Um, but it's like all of her focus and all of her energy nonstop is on the kid.
Okay.
So
She
if
would.
you want, yeah, if you want to feel your daughter, spend more time with your grandchild. And
Okay.
because that's the way to. I know it sounds strange, but the way you're going to feel her, it's almost like they're one person. Their
Mm-hmm.
bond is that powerful. I'm
Okay.
going to ask the guides: is she going to ever be able to let go of her daughter and let her daughter become a separate person, be free? I don't know about that, Trina. That's a difficult situation, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
You know, um, I'm not sure, I think it was that, the age that she died at. I think that she felt that when she passed, her daughter desperately needed her. And she did.
Yes.
The daughter's having a terrible time with mom. So daughter's hanging hold of mom. Mom's hanging a hold of the daughter. And what you've got is very definitely an attachment between the two of them. Will that attachment, and I'm talking about that, not just a love bond, but that attachment, will that be lifelong? And my guides are saying that it probably will. It's very, how old was her daughter when she passed?
14.
Okay, and that's such a tender, tender time. And I also think that the daughter was, sorry about going, can I go into personal things here?
Yes, you may.
Okay. I think the daughter was getting involved with uh, life situations and people at 14 that were distinctly unhealthy for her, and your daughter knew it. I don't know if
Yes,
she told you about it, but she knew it.
I
And
knew.
yeah, okay. And one of the big reasons why your daughter is, she's not somebody who's invasive in her normal self, but she
Mm-hmm.
felt compelled to assert herself with her child in a way that was very unlike her in order to protect her. So she was busy protecting her daughter. And I'm getting little chills as I talk to you. This is almost Halloween stuff, but
Mm-hmm.
she felt that she had to insinuate herself into her daughter at that time, because if she didn't, somebody else that her daughter was involved with would have energetically controlled her, and it would have ended up very badly. But
I understand.
yeah, the thing is that connection caused, it caused your daughter to kind of lose her freedom on the other side. Now, she's
Mm-hmm.
not resentful of that. I got to tell you, she's not resentful at all. She's doing what she wants to be doing because she loved her daughter so much, loves her.
Mm-hmm.
But she, tied the two of them together in a way that my guides are saying wasn't part of the plan, you see. And
Yes.
that's going to have to, in a karmic sense, there will be future lives where that will have to be worked out, because they are two separate souls. They are not the same soul, but one
Mm-hmm.
soul has given up its freedom to save the other soul, and that was important. That was a gift. That was a gift of life. And the child has the hope of a healthy life and moving on to a level that she would not have been able to move on to if mom had not interfered. But mom definitely interfered. And so there's big time karma there.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you.
Oh, I get little chills on that. That was a very odd session to end with tonight. But I have a feeling, Trina, that my Lisa is a psychic. I don't think she called on you by accident. I bet you anything there's at least 2 or 3 people on this call who have stayed until the end to hear what I just said to you, because they needed to hear that, because that situation has happened to them too.
Okay. And I
I'm
would
going to
like
go
to
back and
say,
just show you what I was showing you before.
okay,
Here's
I appreciate
Virgo in the 5th house. This is the child.
it. Mm-hmm.
Here's Jupiter in the 2nd house. This is you. This is the person who holds the anchor, which you were
Mm-hmm.
doing for and your daughter and your granddaughter. This is Saturn and Neptune in Pisces in the 11th house. You were good friends with your daughter. It wasn't just daughter mom. This
Yes.
is P square between these 3 planets that pushes the energy out into the 8th house. That's death, regeneration, that's talking to dead people. That's everything we just discussed right now. So this is what's going on for you
Mm-hmm.
as that mutable sign, and probably for a lot of the other mutable signs on the call this evening. One of the things you have to watch out for in the future, Trina, is that you don't get pulled into that triangle. It would not be healthy for your soul.
Okay.
Okay. So be there for your granddaughter, spend more time with her, but don't try to reach your daughter through her. Be aware she's there. That'll make you
Okay.
feel, but don't try and pull her in harder. That would be bad for you.
Okay. I
Okay.
appreciate that information.
You're welcome.
And I'd like to see Lisa, go Leopards. She will know what that means.
I think I
Absolutely.
do. Yay. Go you
Thank you so
football
much. I
fans.
appreciate you.
Okay, folks, I'm going to have to call it quits this evening. And I love you all. I'm so grateful that we were able to do this tonight. We'll be back next month. Remember, it's on the 20, let me see, the next one, the 27th of October is our next one. So I'll see you then. And don't forget, send me your questions. And as long as they get to me before 9 p.m. tomorrow night, I'll be glad to answer them. I need your name, where you're from, what you're most grateful for, your sun sign. That's important because I use this chart, and your simple question. Thank you so much. Good night, everyone. Have a great, great month.